basically where you can keep on like different kinds of campaigns within Facebook. So that is the first thing you would need: your Facebook and ad account, Facebook business page. Also, you need the information that you're going to put on the ads. So things like what kind of questions you're going to ask. And what we usually suggest is, obviously there's probably lots of questions that you would like to ask somebody before you get them in for interview, but we usually suggest having 3 good questions. So that might be get them to fill in, well, obviously like their contact details, but to fill in things like what their previous experience is, or what position they'd be interested in, or any like minimum qualifications or criteria that you think they'll need. So you would have three questions basically that you'd want to ask them within the ad campaign. Also, what we use and is doing really, really well is Facebook lead forms. And what this basically is, I'll show you a kind of example. So you can run a campaign in Facebook where it's like lead generation, and what it does is someone clicks on the ad and it actually opens up a form in Facebook. So this is what the first kind of page that they see would look like. They click the sign up now or apply now button. Then usually what happens is, the great thing with Facebook is it automatically populates with email addresses, full name, even contact number if they're using their phone. So there's not a lot more information that they needed to add, which makes the process really quick. And you can add in all your questions in this next form. And then this takes them to a final thank you page, and then you can choose to send them to your website, perhaps to look at more vacancies, or, so there's lots of kind of places that you can send them after that. So Facebook lead form is ideal. What we've also got is Messenger. Now, if any of you have ever used Facebook before, you probably use Messenger quite a lot. In fact, like something like 65% of mobile users use Facebook Messenger to communicate back and forth with people. So you can actually use Messenger within Facebook to send messages and recruit people. The same idea as the lead form, but all done within Messenger. And we use a third-party application in order to do that. We use one called ManyChat. There's other ones out there. So we would suggest you use that. And also, I'm trying to think, Adam, if I missed something out there.
No, I think, yeah, and that's right. I think, for those of us who aren't the technical, and that includes me, Leanne does all of this. It's like all of these can be built into your Facebook ads account, the Messenger, ManyChat. It does, require some technical expertise, but what it enables you to do is to have those qualification questions, such as, do you have any experience in care, or what particular, are you looking for flexible or permanent full-time work? So you can get those questions automated using this Messenger system, which you don't need necessarily to start, but it does help massively.
Yeah, and also depending on how many you're looking for. Now, obviously, if you're only looking for a few applicants, this is probably something you can manage manually yourself. However, if you want quite a large pool of applicants, then we usually suggest that you have some kind of customer management system, just something where you're collecting people's data in, obviously in line with GDPR. And you can also use this to go on to send emails as well. So you've got all that information there that even if you don't use them now, you can go back to them for recruitment purposes in future. So those are the main things that we suggest you use to get started.
Yeah, and that's great. And just to get started, it is that the Facebook ads account and the familiarity using the ad settings within Facebook, the business manager. That's correct, aren't I, Leanne?
Yeah.
And again, I'm speaking to someone who's learned this process through Leanne. But that's all you need to get started. So once you've got that, it's about setting up those ads. We're now on section 3 of our itinerary. Setting up the different ads and the importance of testing. So, Leanne, can I hand it back over to you here?
Yep, that's fine. So there's 2 different, Facebook's great in that you can use lots of different objectives. So, for example, you could go into campaign manager. I'll just show this very quickly. But there's lots of different objectives you could use. You could choose to send people to your website with the traffic objective, or you might just want to reach a lot of people really quickly. Engage with posts on your page. There's lots of things you can do here, but the two main ones for these purposes that we suggest people use are lead generation and messages. So the lead generation, that is these lead forms, and the messages, I'm about to show you in a second how that works, but that's basically sending messages in ads and people responding within Messenger. So with the lead forms, very, very easy to set up. It's pretty much self-explanatory. So they just click on the ad and then you fill the information there. Now, where there's extra and more advanced options here is when you use that third-party app. You can actually, rather than have somebody on your Facebook page replying to every message, which can be quite time-intensive, you can have a third-party app which basically takes this information and qualifies them based on the information they provide. So it's really good in that sense. So that's what lead forms do. We get lots of great kind of results from this. However, what's working really well with us for us is the Facebook Messenger ads. And just before I kind of go on to describe it any further, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, and hopefully this works, I'm going to show you an example of how this looks when somebody clicks on an ad. Now the thing is, most people are on their mobiles. I'm doing this on desktop, so it does appear much nicer on the mobile experience. But so let me just do this. So somebody's clicked on an ad, and then what happens is they get a ping in their Facebook Messenger. Here we go. So this would be so this is an example of a campaign we're actually using for some of our clients. So click on get started. Fortunately, that's a feature that they have to type in. I wish you could get rid of that bit. So it's saying there, hi, first name, takes their first name. Thanks to them for requesting more info regards temporary vacancies. Then as you can see, it automatically populates with their email address. So all they're doing is clicking on it, or if it's not the correct one, you'd get them to type in a new one. Then it automatically populates with their telephone number if they're using a mobile. And then this is where you can ask the questions. So this is a very, very quick one. These are the three kind of different vacancies. Also, what's worked really well is we are doing this for nurse recruitment as well, which was obviously a lot more difficult, but we are doing that and we're asking for things like, you know, what are the qualifications, what experience they've got, but this is a very kind of basic one. So they click care staff, brilliant. And that says, thanks again for the info. So nobody's had to interact with that whatsoever. And based on the information that they've provided there, that gets sent to, and again, it could be your CRM, but for the purpose of this, we're going to use this as an example. So this is a Google Sheet where that information is transferred to, and we take all of their details here. And what happens is these care homes have people that go into the spreadsheet, get the information that they need, and then they go and contact the applicant on their behalf. Now, there's lots of things you could do with that. You could actually set it up, if you didn't want any manual intervention before other questions are required, you could set it up where they get an email, where they're asked to respond to an email, or you might send them an invite to an appointment. That all of this part can be automated, but this is the kind of very basic idea of how that looks. So you can see it's very kind of simple when it works. And the reason why it works so well is because it's in an app that people are used to. We're not taking them away from the Facebook platform. We're getting all of the main questions in and answers in quickly to then further qualify. And the other great thing is that as time goes on and we realise actually we want more information up front, we can do that. We can add more bits and pieces into the process. But this is kind of good in this situation where you're wanting people in quickly, like we want temp staff quickly. So this is what we do with Messenger. And I'm trying to think what the other question was. How much of it can be automated? Yeah, I've just described that. So pretty much all of it can be automated, or you can decide to have very human touch where they maybe get an automated reply to say, hey, we do have your query, we will be in contact, because sometimes you'll get people like, where's this information gone? Will anybody contact me? So they'll get that, and also, but you can have the human contact after that. So it's just really on your own preferences how you'd want to use the system.
And just, going so back a step, all this information that's being collated here, which is done in this case through Facebook Messenger, is done from that initial ad. And what might that initial ad look like? Well, you and I know all the ads that we've seen, But for recruitment for care or nursing staff or housekeeping staff, it might be there's no rules here. This is Facebook, so you want to grab their attention for people who are generally at leisure. So it might be a basic text, very basic text ad, which is interested in a care job in Leeds, for example, and then you might have a photo, or you can also have a video. But you and I know those Facebook ads that we see that pop up in our timeline. Well, it's the same idea, except it's a recruitment ad in this sense. And there's no rules here about, in the sense of what ads work best. Now, one thing I'm just going to ask Leanne just to talk briefly about is the importance here of testing, because the key thing about recruiting care and nursing staff and using ads on Facebook to do that is that you can test different words, different photos, different videos if you're using videos for your Facebook ads, and see which ones work the best. Now, why this is key is for this reason, is if you are getting a potential nurse or a potential carer expressing an interest in working for you and giving their name, email and phone number, if you're getting a certain job ad, recruitment ad on Facebook, getting that information for £1.50, and you're getting another ad that's getting that information for you at £6, you are going to turn off the one that's getting you that information for £6 and keep on the one that gets you that information for £1. So that's the key of testing and the importance of testing. And that's one beauty of the Facebook ads, is that you can test different recruitment ads to find out which one works best. One thing I do want Leanne to talk about is when you are doing what's seen as a recruitment ads on Facebook, you have to be wary of certain guidelines. Let me just hand over to Leanne on that. Leanne, I think you're muted. I'll unmute you. Sorry. I'm unmuting you. Here we go. Let me try.
No, there you go.
There we go. Yeah, that's thanks.
Yeah, so basically Facebook, obviously, because of all of the stuff that's kind of happened politically or whatever, has had to really kind of hone down in the kind of language that's getting used in ads and the kind of targeting that you could do, so it's not seen as discriminatory in any way. So when it comes to recruitment, they're very kind of, you pretty much can only target on localities. So this is why it matters, the ads that you use in order to call out your audience. So this is where we test different things like ad copy, like appealing to specific kinds of demographics, like having an image of, a very young carer compared to someone that's maybe been doing it for 30 years. That could be the difference between the applicant that you get for that job. So that's why it's really important that you're testing out lots of different images, lots of different types of copy, also testing out things like square images versus rectangular and colors. So although a lot of people might find it tempting just to run one ad, one campaign, and then hope for the best, in order to just get the most bang for your buck, realistically you could be saving an absolute fortune by testing lots of different ads at the same time. And it doesn't have to be lots, when I say lots of different ads, it doesn't have to be lots of widely variable ads, but just things like, let's test this picture against this one, this color against that one. And we do kind of get great results. I mean, this is an example, although I've kind of,
just explain how a care operator can get those that information you've got on that Excel sheet. That comes directly from the Facebook Messenger, all automated into an Excel sheet, and that comes in at real time.
Yeah, so you can see the kind of timeline on this. It's like 11 minutes past, 13 minutes past. So yeah, this kind of this is the information that we got from one operator that we started just at the end of last month, and that's 270, if we take away the headings, 278 applications. Now this is for like kind of a large kind of care home provider. But this is the kind of results that we're getting, and this is all from the messenger campaigns. So they do really work really well. Now, obviously the only next stage that we need to check is how many of these people actually qualify, and do we need to take this a step further? But for a first kind of part of this campaign, the care home's really happy with the results that we're getting.
In terms of that. You know, that it's a real-time Excel sheet, it's real-time data coming through, and that's what's so useful I have found about it. In terms of just one question on when all this information is coming to you, when all these potential applicants are dialoguing with you on Messenger, on Facebook, through your ads, what's best done by a human and what's best automated? Again, my thoughts are, I'm speaking with Jan, it depends on the size of your provider. You know, essentially, if you're looking for 4 new care staff quickly, it'd probably best a lot of it done by a human, but there are so many parts of it that you can automate. And certainly if you're a bigger provider where you're looking for dozens and quickly, again, from what I'm learning with Leanne, a lot of it can be automated, but you do need someone there to answer specific questions that will be coming in on the Facebook ad itself, on the comments section. Okay, great. So I'm just wary of the time. So before we go on to a question, I just want to give you an idea of how we've seen this work for real in the situation we face right now with the the coronavirus, literally testing us all and all providers. Is that once you get these up and running, and once you get your targeting working well and your ads working well, you do get very, very immediate results, and you can switch off and on the ads according to when you actually need help and need staff. That's the beauty of it. And because so many people around your homes are on Facebook, this is a particular key way to attract them. So that is one final comment I'd like to make. So I just want to move over to any questions that anyone may have. Please, now's your chance to ask them. And I'm just seeing 1 or 2 come in. So I'm going to ask them as they come in. And I'm going to ask the question from Robbie, which is with the messenger questions. Are you able to localize the questions? So for example, if someone's reaching us from a certain area, we can ask which care home they'd like to get a job for. Okay, my thoughts here, and I'll let Leanne come in, is that any ad would need to be specific to generally a specific region. And the beauty of Facebook ads is that you can do that. So yes, you can have one general ad, but then you can break it up into different ads for different regions, because that one ad will be targeting people within a certain region. I'll pass over to Leanne here, but off the cuff from what I know, I would say it would be definitely one ad for one region.
Yeah, so you can still have it all within the same ad manager account, but I would suggest that you try and keep it as specific as possible. If you've got like a certain area where maybe you have more than one care home, so they could theoretically go for 1 of 2 care homes, yes, you can ask the question which care home would be your preference. that's definitely doable.
I hope that helps, Robbie. Phil, are you recommending Messenger ahead of lead generation? I'll hand over to you on that one, Leanne.
I would say lead generation for those of you wanting to just go ahead and set it up yourself quickly. Lead generation is probably the best way to go because it's quicker to do, and it just means that you can get it done yourself. The Messenger for overall results has been best for us. It's got the most leads at the cheapest cost per lead. So I would say if you had more time in your hands to try Messenger, but if not, go for lead forms. They will still do the job. It just won't be as as good a cost per lead.
That helps, Phil. Katie, does the messages function generate an automatic spreadsheet split into the different roles? Good question.
Does the message, I'm trying to generate an automatic spreadsheet split into the different roles. So do you mean that sorry, I don't understand.
So I think what that means is, so let's say she's looking for different roles.
So she has different parts. Yes.
Catering. So when you want those to drop into the spreadsheet, that real-time spreadsheet, so it's very clear, so Suzanne's applying for nursing, Keith's applying for a...
Yes, so you'd have like a lot of nurses together, you can have that information sent anywhere you like and in however form you like it. So as long as they give us the information, then there are ways of tailoring it to however you want to view it. Makes it easier.
Yeah, and Katie then adds different tabs on the spreadsheet. So
yes,
that's done with your Messenger. If they say a nurse, they choose that option, then that automatically goes into the nursing section on that spreadsheet.
Yeah, you can do that.
I think that's about right. I think as I've understood. Yeah. Thank you, Katie. I hope that helps. Alex, when you say we can't target that specifically outside of area for recruitment ads, what are the guidelines from this? For example, can I include nurse in employment history? The answer to that, oh, sorry. Okay, how does the third-party software you mentioned interact with Facebook, and what does it allow you to do?
Yeah, so with recruitment ads, they classify it as a special category. It's a fairly recent change. It used to be you could target by job title, which was wonderful, but the only thing that you can target with a recruitment ad is a location, and that is it. So that's why your ads really need to be very specific. Now, the good thing is Facebook is so clever. Like the algorithm is really clever. So if it notices that people of a certain type are answering to your ads, then it will show ads to more people like that. So it looks for over like 297 pieces of information on someone. So if somebody's put nurse in their job title and they notice a lot of nurses are already applying for it, it will go for more nurses. So that's why it's doing it that way, so that there's no it's basically saying you actually don't even need to do it because they will find those people for you. And we can testify to that with the cost per lead. It's not been any more expensive than it was before they put these restrictions in place. How does the third-party software you mentioned interact with Facebook and what does it allow you to do? So let me show you it. Let's see.
So this is a question just so for everyone else is, how does the third-party software you mentioned interact with Facebook, and what does it allow you to do? So the third-party software you mentioned was
ManyChat.
ManyChat.
Yeah. So ManyChat, this is an example of what a dashboard looks like, and basically what you can do is you can set up things called flows, and these allow you to kind of so what I should also mention is ManyChat is a very well acquainted with Facebook. Facebook and ManyChat got on really well, so they actually really like each other. They're constantly talking to each other, so it's not one of those third-party apps that can be quite ambiguous and close down at any moment. It's been running for years. It's really clever. It's absolutely brilliant app. So what you could do is you can set up a flow here, and then link it to your Facebook page, and then choose the campaign that you want the flow to be on. And then that basically, you can link it with any Facebook ad campaign. You can even link it with posts on your page. If you want to post something on your page and have people respond to that and to collect their information onto a spreadsheet, you can do that as well. So yeah, this is the tool. It takes a little bit of learning, don't get me wrong, but as with anything, there's YouTube tutorials. It has its own really good training videos as well. So it's definitely something. There's other ones out there, but this is the best one that I've come across so far.
Thank you.
I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, thank you. And then Lisa asked, is there a cost difference between leads and messenger?
So this is the thing. What you'll find on leads and messenger is there's going to be bad quality stuff coming through, and it's kind of a weird phenomenon that some people fill in a lead form, and then if you contact them every more than 24 hours later, they'll be like, I don't remember filling that in. And then there'll be people that are filling it in, and it might be competitors testing out how you're recruiting and things like that. So don't get me wrong, not every lead is perfect. However, what we found is lead forms, we're getting, it can be between £7 and £15 per lead with lead forms, and you'd be quite happy with that, because usually they are kind of, if you look at the kind of lifetime value of it, it is worth it. But with Messenger, you might get more bad quality leads through, but there's a lot more of them, and the cost per lead is far lower. So it's about how much manual effort you want to put into things. Messenger might take a little bit more because you have got more leads, and there might be more bad quality ones. You might have a bit more work there. Whereas lead forms might be a little bit more reliable, but a little bit more costly. So it's just about how you'd want to deal with the information as it came in.
Yeah, and I think that's something that I've learned as well, is that different, as Leanne rightly says, different systems provide different qualities of leads, or in this case, different quality of applicants. So you ideally, for carers, let's say, or nursing, you want someone who's experienced, who has experience and is ready to go. That might be your ideal candidate, and some systems are better at getting those, and perhaps from the questions you ask them, so you're kind of qualifying them to get you that particular talent. What we are finding with these recruitment ads for care providers in the situation right now is we're getting a lot of people with a whole load of interesting talents because they are out of work. We're looking at people who are magicians, who are fitness trainers, a lot of interesting talent coming in to help ultimately provide the care, good quality of care, which is ultimately what you are all trying to do. Thank you, I hope that helps. Another question from Lisa. Through your experience, is it best to give minimal information or more information on the job ad?
From my perspective, I would suggest that the main thing you should have in the ad is like the benefits of working with you, because if you are going to be in competition with a lot of our care homes, if you've got something, like best place to work for, top 100 companies, if you've got anything like that you can use, or anything that makes you a little bit more special than other competitors, I would suggest try and use that within the ad. Focus on that. Focus on it's good people, it's all about the team. And then you don't really need to get more specific than that, because you're bringing them into a lead form where you're asking them questions. You're really filtering out anybody. There'll be people that if they get to that point it doesn't make sense to them, they won't fill it in. So I would keep it 2 to 3 paragraphs maximum. I wouldn't do any more than that. And I would even test it just against very short, it's maybe people that are looking for work quickly. So they're, again, is that good quality? I don't know, but they might just want to scan through it and then click and then go fill in the application. But 2 to 3 paragraphs is the maximum I would give. Definitely the benefits of working with your organisation. If you want to mention pay grades, maybe, but I think a lot of our clients have suggested not mentioning like pay and stuff like that. But yeah, that would be my main thing.
And also just to add, again, you can test. You know, that's the beauty,
Yeah,
is that you can test.
yeah,
You can do a 5-word ad versus a beautifully crafted 400 words, a personal account from a carer about, or a nurse about
yeah,
why
video.
why Adam, I'm a carer at, or I'm a nurse at, I'd love you to come and work with me because, and I give you 400 words on that. And if you want to come and work with me at this home, click here. So again, that's something we're doing with nursing ads. We're trying to get nurses to help get other nurses to come and work with them. So that's another strategy. And again, you can test it. That's the beauty of Facebook ads, is you can test and see which one works best. Then Jasmine, it's hi. Does the person who's running the ad account need to have a particular access level on Facebook? E.g., do they need to set up as the admin, editor, etc.?
Yes, so they'll need, especially to do the messaging, they need a page admin access and they need ad account admin access as well.
Dion asks, do you have any data on success rates specifically in relation to timing of adverts? For instance, are more people using Messenger on certain days and times over others?
Really good question. And I would have said before, after 8 o'clock at night tends to be the best time to get people. But right now, because most people are at home, unfortunately, so it's actually, we're finding leads coming in at all times of day. So I would definitely start off by being very broad and just having the 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I would try to keep to that, because again, Facebook will understand when people are online more and will spend more budget during that time. So it's really quite clever and quite intuitive. So I wouldn't go, messing about with dates and times initially unless you're maybe needing large volume and need to be really strict with budget. But yeah, I would stick to 24/7 just now.
Thanks, Dion. Jasmeet, if you have a careers website with an application form already built into it, have you other providers seen a drop-off in engagement if you try to direct all of your lead messenger applications over to the application forms on the careers website to complete there and then?
So definitely lead forms and messenger ads will get higher conversion than sending somebody to a site to fill in an application form. However, somebody filling in an application form on your site is a far better quality lead than somebody coming in through a lead and a messenger ad, just purely because we're not asking as many questions there. What you might want to do is, but you will get a lower rate, definitely you will. People will drop off if they're, and again, it's whether how interested they are and how they're going to do that. But what we've found is working really well with the care homes is we get them in through the lead or the messenger ad, and then they will contact that person, or they'll send a follow-up email, maybe asking more information about them then, and then getting them to fill in an application form at that point, once they've gauged interest and know that they are definitely, up for the position. But yeah, you will definitely see a higher drop off if you're sending them to an application form on site. In fact, I see that across the board for any industry. If you're sending somebody to your website to take an action, the conversion rate is definitely going to be lower than just keeping them within Facebook.
Great, thank you. Alex asks, have you got specific advice as to how to recruit nurses? I'll come in and help here from what I've seen. Great question. Nurses, everyone's after them. There's not enough. Everyone's after them. There's not enough. Repeat. So, so what our advice would be to get your nurses. The best way to get nurses is to get your nurses to get other nurses. How can you possibly do that on Facebook? So rather than a standard recruitment ad for nurses, go on the line of the aim for you is to get the name, email address of a nurse who's possibly interested in learning more about you. That's it. You're not interested in getting them to a job right there and then. So how best to do that? I would suggest have a video or some story about as a Facebook ad written, you can write it, by that nurse in his or her language, in his or her words, stating about what is everything, what is good about the job that she or he does as a nurse at your establishment. For example, that can be a video, it can be words. You want that nurse's words or video to attract the attention of other nurses. On Facebook, imagine you're on a timeline scrolling, it's got to be something that jumps out if you want nurses who are already, you know, who aren't necessarily looking for work, you know, but you want to get their attention either for there and then or for the future, so you can start to send them emails. So how can you do that? Again, thinking about how to grab the attention of nurses and to give them something that they would happily give you their name and email address for, such as, you know, 10. If you're a provider of specialist dementia nursing, 10 reasons why I love being a specialist dementia nurse. By me, Adam James, a nurse at so and so care home. Now, if I'm another nurse, you know, yeah, I'll give you that. I'm not necessarily interested in a job right now, but I'll give you my details for that guide. You sounded like an interesting nurse. So that's another way to think about grabbing the attention, getting the details of nurses within a particular area who you might be interested in then having a conversation with. Don't forget you've got their email address, so you can start to have a conversation with them, either through a CRM system or through personal email dialogue. So yes, use that way. Yes, you can try straight recruitment ads for nurses, so-and-so job at so-and-so establishment for so-and-so rates and so-and-so terms and so-and-so pay. Try that versus the longer term approach, which is you want a bank of nurses over a longer period of time, in which case you might have to think a little bit differently along those lines I've just suggested, to grab their attention and give them a reason for giving their name and email address to you, which might be something as I just suggested. I hope that was of some help. And we are doing exactly that process. And yes, we are getting a lot of nurses who are, how we are doing it is that nurse has to, that person who inquires for that guide, they then are asked on Messenger, are you, just curious, are you a nurse or not? And they'll reply yes or no. And that comes into that real-time Excel spreadsheet I showed you before. And then you will know real time if a nurse is interested in that 10 reasons I love specialist dementia nursing guides you're going to send them. So I hope that was of some help there, Alex. I'm just really at the time, just scrolling, see if you've got any more questions. It's now 1:45. So if you've got any more questions, either to Leanne or myself, just please send an email. You'll have my email address. One last thing, we are helping care operators in their recruitment of staff as part of a special operations support package for care providers during Corona, which includes recruitment, which includes helping with any media issues that any care providers may be facing, and also proactive positive news about to local media, engaging with them in a positive way, because one thing's absolutely for sure right now is that the public are desperate to know about how well care providers are looking for looking after our elderly, and so and journalists we are finding are absolutely devouring positive news that's coming out of care providers about how you continue to provide good care in these very, very testing times. And then they are also helping care providers and running editorial stories on recruitment of staff, as long as you present it more as a story as opposed to a recruitment ad. So this is part of our special operation support, PR, marketing, recruitment, operation support during the Corona period. We've not put the full package together, but if you're interested, just email me, contact me, and I can have a chat with you about how we might be able to help you on that. So I hope this was helpful. Continue doing the great work that you're all doing. Any more questions, just come back to us at any time, and stay in touch. Thank you so much.